Well, it is 6 o'clock. We will wait until 6:10 and we will get started.
Morning, Chef.
Good morning. Who was that?
Roy,
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Just about 5 more minutes and we'll get started, guys. Good morning.
Morning, Chef.
All right, it is 6:10. Hold on, let me reply to a message real quick and then I'll... All right. Well, happy Monday, everybody. I hope everybody's doing wonderful on this awesome Monday. You know what? Who was the last person that came in? Oh, let me look. I think we have one more person.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it is you. Thank you, man. I want to make sure I got you as present. Cool. I was doing something when you walked in, so I couldn't see who it was. All right, so let's get this party started. Let me get what's growing on today. Let me share my screen. All right. November the 2nd, please remember to change your time. That could totally screw you up on that following Monday or Sunday or whatever, but we're going to roll our, we've got fall back, so we're going to roll back an hour. Holiday schedule in service, November the 6th. Let's see, Thanksgiving, November 27th or 26th and 27th. Christmas break is December 21st, Friday through January 1st. Please note we resume on Monday the 4th. If you have any questions or need help with rent or housing, I think utilities, I think that Austin Energy in City of Austin has got a little bit of help. If you need it, you've just got to apply, I believe. Mental health issue, if you need any mental health, and this is something very important, especially going through, see you later, have a good day. But if you're having any mental health issues, please do not hesitate to, you know, we all are going through some crazy stuff. So if you need anything, this will help. Anybody can help, and you just got to ask. Help support for any lost individuals. Here, if you have any financial aid questions or any money questions, anything like that, feel free to contact these people. Zendesk, if you having problems with your email, any of that sort of stuff, these people can help. Please practice good hygiene, wear a mask, all that good stuff. Bleach, disinfectant, it's a half cup of Clorox bleach to a gallon of water. These two individuals can help you out finding a job, resume, you name it, anything, career services. Kendall Hari, guys, this is supposed to be like the end all be all, big old huge resort in Round Rock, opening November the 12th. So pretty soon. Let's see if I can. So it's an indoor water park. There we go. All right. So Kandahari, a couple other places, a few other places right here that are looking for individuals to work. Plus our dry storage. We need a couple of people, one person for 9 o'clock, one person for 12, two people for 2 or 6 a.m. and 2 for 12 o'clock. All right, just for fun. That's funny. All right, the quote, live it, love it, be it. It's deep. Chef Tammy's got a molasses ice box cookie, and they are delicious. Let's see, here's the ingredients. Anybody wants molasses cookies? All right, in the spotlight, we spotlight some students or whatever else, and here's a student spotlight. I'll just kind of leave this up here so you can kind of look at it, and then we will move on. Here's the trivia. Who wants to read the trivia for me?
An interesting Halloween ritual during the 18th century was for a woman to throw apple peels over her shoulder. Why?
If you, I'm filling up a glass with water right now, but if you want to put the answers on the chat, I will look. Oh, sorry. To find a husband. There you go.
I feel like all the old time period stuff is about finding a husband.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing, man. I mean, that's like right up to the 50s, 60s.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny. All right. All right, all right. Hold on. Let me find out where all my stuff is at. What's today? Day 16? Wow, we are like moving up in the world. We are almost done with this class. Wow, time flies. All right. So let me make sure we're recording. Guys, I'm sorry. The past couple of mornings, we've been having class. The recording has not been, it'll record and then it'll stop. And then, so I've been having some issues with the recording. So I'm going to be kind of watching that throughout to make sure that it does not happen. All right. So we've got the food cycle, and we already talked a little bit about this a little bit on receiving, right? We talked about receiving and storing and all of that sort of stuff. Was that on Friday? And I'm sorry, I'm teaching like two classes on Friday.
That is Friday.
Okay, thank you, because I taught a different thing on Friday after y'all. But so we talked about standard operating procedures. The purchasing, how we need to purchase the product, we need to store it, we need to issue it and send it out to whoever, the cooks, and they prep it and they cook it, and then they serve it, then it's cleaned up, and kind of the cycle goes on again. So that was kind of the food cycle. We are going to be, purchasing. Step one is to develop a purchasing specifications. Very important, because if you don't have the specifications or whatever you require, whatever you're requiring, very, very important to make sure you have all those specifications, because if not, you're just kind of guessing, and you're just kind of, what do I want to get? I don't know, get this, get that, really no specifics, nothing like that. So you need that. Purchase correct quantities. Yeah, you don't want to be like buying, I don't know, two, 3 cases accidentally, or whatever else that you're going to be throwing away, or not have enough. Let's see. Receiving, develop and receiving, basically a process on how to receive it. So when the food gets here, what is the step-by-step process on receiving it? Are we going to take the box, look at it, check the temperature, do all of this sort of stuff? But we need procedures. We need to develop or put procedures in place if we've already developed them. We need to make sure we keep up and, keep any necessary reports, or kind of put together necessary reports if we have to in the receiving area, address any financial needs. And that's the biggest deal, is when you're getting all your stuff brought in, you're getting receipts and all of that, and you have to really keep up with all those receipts, because those are bills, and if you don't, you're going to get behind on your bills. And if you lose one receipt, and then you forget to pay it, then sometimes the purveyors will put you on a probationary period. And then if you're late, or if you can't pay it, then they stop. They're not going to deliver food anymore to you. So storing effective. Let's see, making sure we store everything correctly in the physical manner. We make sure there's people stealing it. It's all, all of that good stuff. Let's see, we issue it to the right people. We match, get them to, just issuing it to the purchasing, making sure we charge the right departments if we need to charge any of the departments. Making sure that everybody has their mise en place, or for the prep area, getting all the mise en place, minimizing all the waste, maximizing all the nutritional, basically just cooking it correctly, making sure that everything's cooked correctly. It's not overcooked, or undercooked, whatever else, making sure all the mise en place is there, making sure we're not wasting anything. That's part of, cooking it correctly as well. Preparation. So using standardized recipes, and that's something that I've started getting you to do, coming up with 2 different recipes of marinara sauce and a tartar sauce, just writing down a standardized recipe with these certain things that are on there, like equipment, or how long do you need it, just any additional information, just all sorts of what you need to produce this product. And that's the preparation area, preparation portion of the cycle. And we're going to be using portion control, requirements for food, employee safety, all of that sort of stuff, making sure that during the preparation portion of it, a few people don't have like 100 raw chickens sitting out. We need to keep them cool and keep them refrigerated. And if we're fabricating them and we have them sitting out, maybe just take a small amount of that chicken and keep it in the fridge, or most of all the chickens keep it in the fridge, so you don't time temperature abuse anything, so where things won't go bad, and we deal with the safety aspect of the food. And then step 7 is serving, timing, timing all the orders properly, portion control, very important. And that's something that, if you don't have portion control, you can easily lose money every single time you sell any sort of food. Let's see. Service, making sure, we're serving all the alcoholic beverages responsibly. The food, we're serving the food responsibly. We're keeping sanitized and cleaned, and cleanliness and things are clean, and all the service areas are clean and organized, and all sorts of those kinds of things. That's kind of the service portion of it. Making sure all the dishes are taken care of and cleaned and sanitized and all of that. Standard portion cost. Now, when we portion out stuff for producing, or for basically controlling a controlled system, basically a production of controlled systems, or some other systems. We have many hundreds of different systems that we deal with in the industry, but standard portion control is very important, or portion control. But who wants to read? Someone read me the portion control section of this slide, if you don't mind.
Standard portion control is defined as the dollar amount that portions should cost, given the standards and standard procedures for its production. The standard portion cost for a given menu item can be viewed as a budget for the production of one portion of that item. There are several reasons for determining standard portion costs. The most obvious is that one should have a reasonable, clear idea of the cost of a menu item before establishing a menu sales price for that item.
Thank you so much. So we need to get a sales price for this item. We need a standard portion control. First of all, we need to figure out how much it's going to cost for this amount of money, or this 5 ounces of this item, or whatever else. So we need to know how much things cost. We need a certain amount of portion, and we need to control it, because if not, we're going to lose money. Does everybody understand why portion control is so important? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure that everybody understands why I'm going to beat this whole standardized recipe in your head. Why? Just because of this is what decides if we make money or not, or one of the factors, right? We need to control the costs. We need to control the amount. We need to know how much we're giving each customer at every point of the time we do, producing food, right? We need to know exactly what we're giving out and wasting, because if we don't know that, then we don't know how much money we're just throwing around. And now, when you're dealing with purchasing product, you have edible portion and as purchased portion. Okay, now edible portion is the portion of food that will be served to the customer after the food has been cut and cooked. Okay, so that means it's already been fabricated, it's already been cleaned. If it says, hey, remove the fat, we've removed the fat, we've removed the silver skin or elastin, any of that sort of stuff from the meat. We've removed the peelings from the potato, whatever it is, we've removed it, we've cooked it, and whatever it is, that's called the edible portion. Okay, as purchased portion is the portion of food that is in the raw state before any cutting, processing, or cooking has occurred. So that is just anything that, like a carrot that we just got out of the cooler. That is, that's as purchased. It still has the carrot skin on it. It's still got the root end still left on there. All of that. That is what I would consider as purchased. Percent yield is the factor used to determine how much of the food is lost as a result of cooking, cutting, or processing the food. Okay, so if I say this percent yield, 85% yield, that would be, if I said 85% yield is the factor used to determine how much the food is lost. So if I said this apple has an 85% yield to it, so, or whatever it is, that tells me how much loss or whatever from the cooking or cutting or any of that sort of stuff. Does everybody understand that? All right,
Yes, chef.
cool. Start purchasing. Once the work to build your restaurant has begun, start standardizing your opening purchases or strategizing your opening purchases for the front and back of the house. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to figure out what you're going to buy front of the house, back of the house, right? You need to determine, what items, you need a walk-in cooler, you need a bar stools, you need plates, you need glasses, you need uniforms, you need pots, pans, you need, what else do you need? You need to get someone to turn on the gas. You need to get the electricity on. You might need to get, you might need to purchase, you name it. I mean, stationery, so many different things you need to purchase to open up a restaurant. Let's see, here's some tips for purchasing from the house. Here's some items you might need to look at. Plateware, glassware, flatware, serviceware like tea, coffee pots, trays, pitchers, salt, pepper grinders, bar smallwares, tabletop decorative, any kind of thing, candles, vases, any sort of decorative stuff, linens, uniforms, menu covers, menus, and we've got credit card machines, a POS system. Those are things that you would need for like front of the house, for the back of the house, any sort of small wares. I mean, just look at all those things, small wares, any sort of tools, equipment. When you're ordering small wares, you need to purchase the right quantity. You don't, I think that right, that might be excessive in that picture, but you know what? Maybe that company or maybe that restaurant uses lots of these things. So, and maybe that might not be excessive, but the issue is making sure you order the right amount, the right stuff. Any of the small wares, any of that sort of stuff. I mean, if anybody's ever been to a restaurant supply kitchen, for back of the house or whatever else, like Ace Mart or any of those places, I mean, that's like, I could spend all my paychecks and then some at those places, because there's always some sort of thing I would want or want to buy or have. But any small wares, make sure that plates, or I'm sorry, pots and pans and any of that sort of stuff. Those are all things that you need to buy and get. Chef's knives. Now, yes, most restaurants will have some knives there for people to use, but most of the time, it's really you're supposed to bring your own knives. But some restaurants will have, like, for wait staff, they'll have like they'll have prep knives like for like waiters or waitresses to like cut up lemons or limes or cut up the bread or whatever else. Maybe if you have a lot of bread service, maybe we'll have some I'll buy some bread knives for the kitchen or for the restaurant. But most of the times they're usually whoever the kitchen staff is, they usually bring their own knives. But one thing I do usually keep or buy is a sharpening stone. And I usually keep that in the kitchen. In the kitchen, just because I want to make sure that the people that are working in the kitchen, use sharp knives and all of that. And knife sharpeners can be expensive, so that's why I usually buy one and keep it in the kitchen, just so everybody can have one, because they're more expensive, more commercial. The larger ones is what I'm talking about. The smaller ones are not that expensive. Cutting boards, also making sure that we buy cutting boards, and to prevent cross-contamination. Having them color coded is a great thing. But has anybody ever been to a restaurant that uses color coded cutting boards?
Yeah.
Okay, they're only as good as your employees. If your employees are using the wrong ones, then they're not using the right ones, or they're lazy and pulling out the wrong ones and using you've got to make sure that they use the right ones, because if not, people, it could, you could easily get someone sick if you're using, let's say, that cheese one, and cutting chicken with the cheese one, and someone doesn't clean it properly or whatever else, then you can get someone salmonella or whatever else. But just making sure you have enough cutting boards, because everybody in the station's got to have a cutting board. Plus, we got to have a few more. So making sure we have good, clean cutting boards at all times, and they're not scratched up or burnt. You'll see are melted. People will put a pot and pan right on top of the cutting board and melt the cutting board. That happens a lot. Making sure you have enough bowls, pots. All sorts of different bowls, all the sorts of different pots. Now, guys, do you see those lids on those pots?
Yeah.
Okay, you very rarely see lids in restaurants, and let me explain why. When I was getting the slides, I just kind of found these pictures of pots and pans, but the only problem is most restaurants, they don't have lids because it costs extra. In commercial kitchens or when you're buying commercially used or commercial equipment, usually you don't buy lids. Lids come separate. You have to pay for the lid extra. Unlike home style pots and pans, they come with a lid. Usually they don't come with lids, but if they do, a lot of times, people lose them or get, whatever else. They don't stick around. That's why we use lots of aluminum foil, lots of plastic wrap, all of that good stuff. But making sure you have enough pots and pans, making sure that, they are, the proper pots and pans that you want. There's aluminum, there's stainless steel. Aluminum doesn't hold the heat as well as stainless steel. You could burn things a little easier with aluminum than stainless steel. So, it really kind of depends on what you want, but stainless steel is very expensive. So, it just kind of really depends. When starting off, maybe don't buy buy aluminum, buy a little cheaper saute pan, because sometimes people will want to live over their means in a way of your restaurant's budget, right? And you just got to make sure whatever it is, it all fits in your budget. Okay, that's all I'm saying is you can buy cheaper pans, cheaper bowls, whatever else, but no matter what, just make sure it fits in your budget. Don't overextend yourself because you just want really shiny, awesome stainless steel pots and pans. And I've seen chefs, and I've seen restaurant owners actually, I've always wanted nice shiny stainless steel, and I want all stainless steel, in my kitchen, and they spend all this money on this nice pots and pans, and then they're just what I call pot and pan poor, kind of like if you buy a house that you can't afford, your house poor. So you need to make sure you don't overextend yourself too much. All right. Very, very important. And when people are buying all of this stuff, guys, you're in a restaurant supply place usually, or you're, looking at it in a through a magazine and ordering it all through a magazine or whatever else. The issue is you can order too much, and most chefs will go a little overboard because they'll like, oh, I want this, this, this. Ooh, I need this, I need that. And we get this laundry list of things we want. But the issue is we got to really watch our budget. Whisk, spoodles, measuring devices like this. These right here, these are spoodles. These are spoon slash ladle type of deal. Some of them are slotted. They're different colored handles because they're different sizes, and depends on the sizes, almost like the ladles that we use for sauces, for a 1 ounce sauce or a 1/2 ounce sauce, whatever else. You have turners, or like hamburger flippers, or spatulas, tongs, also, and we use tongs on at least one employee has 2 tongs at their station at all times, at least, and maybe more. I mean, tongs are something that you need quite a few of those, because you use them for plating, you use them for serving, you use them for you name it, cooking, use it for everything. And let's say you have a buffet as well. Let's say you're going to need some of those as also. Storing equipment, shelving, sheet pan racks. Oh, well, wow. I forgot about sheet pans. I mean, sheet pans, we can't do without sheet pans. We need sheet pans, hundreds of them. Half, quarter, full, you name it. Also, so we need a sheet pan rack, dry food storage containers, drying racks for like the any sort of dish drying, microfiber cloths, cleaning rags, food service chemical and sanitized trash cans, recycle bins. Also, I need to make sure that my trash dumpsters are there, because I'm gonna have to order a dumpster and a grease trap, grease, where I pour all my used grease, wet floor signs, brooms, mops, cleaning buckets,
Cleaning supplies and all the chemicals.
Yes, thank you. Cleaning supplies, all of that. So there are 5 most important factors to weigh in when making purchasing decisions. And we are going to talk about that when we come back from our break. So come back at 7:05 or 7:10. I'll give you a little extra.
Yeah, chef.
It's 6:52 a.m. The time is 7:07 a.m.
All right, about another minute and we'll get started. All right, let's get started. Everybody there?
Yeah, chef.
All right, all right, all right. So, let's see, where was I? The five most important factors to weigh in when purchasing is cost. What's the second one? Who wants to tell me the second one?
Durability.
Durability, brand, lead time on how long is it going to take to get, and replacement. So, and I think it breaks it down. If not, I will break it down. Oh, I need to. All right. Don't. So cost. Obviously, the cost really determines. I mean that's a big determining factor, but durability as well. For example, like let me, I'm pulling up for example, here is a Vitamix, right? Here's a Vitamix. This is a very durable piece of equipment, right? So, I want to make sure that I buy a product that's going to be durable, that's going to be, that can handle all the abuse that we do in a kitchen, because we use and abuse these machines. I mean, I had to go up to the school to borrow a Vitamix while I was teaching a class but the issue is Vitamixes are more durable than I would say just a regular, I don't know, a regular blender itself. So just making sure that it's durable and that can handle all the abuse that we do in the kitchen. Brand, yeah, sometimes brand like Vitamix might need to have certain brandage. Lead time, how long is it going to take to get there? For example, this happens, when I've helped people open up like a pizza place, their wood burning pizza stove that they ordered from Italy is gonna not be here until, 6 months from now or whatever else, especially during COVID when all the ports shut down and they got stuck. So during that time, you need to make sure you have enough lead time to get the product and replacements. For example, there's an oven called the Blodgett oven. Uh, Different styles of oven. Blodgetts are, I think they're from Germany or something like that. So, and they are made in Germany. So the replacement parts are going to take a while to get to here. Maybe, some ovens I know, especially pizza ovens, are the biggest deal of things have to be custom built or custom made to replace certain items. And any of that sort of stuff, you got to be very careful. If you're buying something buying a stove that, a replacement part has to be made or has to be sourced from other places, maybe you think, should I buy that product, or should I find something that maybe is more accessible for me, that maybe it might be cheaper, but I can get it a little bit faster, lead time or whatever else. So you really need to determine what is best for you and your business. Guys, as much as I love, like buying equipment. That is probably one of my favorite things to do, because I'm buying all these things and it's not my money, but it's all these cool things that I want to buy or whatever else. But make sure you don't buy everything in one day. Keep the purchasing, keep it. You don't want to, throw all your money away in one area. So you want to make sure you spread the love, buy it, and then buy some products. And maybe if you buy a lot of products, maybe hold it back in like for example, like pots, some plates. I usually buy at least 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 cases extra plates or whatever else, and have them kind of hidden away somewhere, because God only knows when you're going to have someone accidentally drop a whole rack of plates, right? And if if these are special plates where it takes a long time to get there, and that's something that I want to make sure I have quite a few of them, is plates, because if I don't have enough plates, I can't serve my food, and can't serve my food, I can't make money. So that kind of deal. But just don't buy everything in one time. Spread it out a little bit. But also you got to think about, when you're buying in bulk, you can get better discounts, right? If I'm going to buy probably 100 ladles, I could probably get a discount if I buy 100 ladles compared to if I'm buying 10 ladles. Does that make sense? So sometimes you can buy more, buy larger or buy more, but you need to make sure that you can handle buying more, or buying larger amounts. But again, don't, you can always buy more in a way. You can never like return it or whatever else, especially with some of these plates. Let's say you custom make some plates or you custom design certain things. You know, anything that's custom designed, A, costs more, and B, it tends to, you know, the replacement, it takes a little longer because it's got to be, you know, with your name on it or what have you. Weigh all the factors on choosing the quality. You know, make sure that, because again, you get what you pay for, right? Does everybody understand that? I mean, for example, you know, has anybody ever bought a knockoff brand of anything? Just a knockoff brand, like you know, whatever. If it was supposed to be
Yeah, sometimes, you
Nike,
know, when you buy something from contracting, you know, you don't get what you know, what you wanted because you didn't describe it well enough.
yeah,
And then you end up having to buy exactly what you wanted in the first place, because it, you know, started breaking on you, you know,
exactly,
right away.
exactly.
With one of those combi ovens, we didn't get the right one, and you know, that was, you know, $40,000 down the drain.
Oh, totally, totally. In a combi oven, man. If you don't, and again, that's a good example. And where was this at?
This was in Iraq, chef.
Iraq. Oh, okay. I mean, but still, I mean, okay.
So
I
we
mean,
got it from Kuwait, because, you know, of course, you know, we said, hey, we needed a combi oven. We didn't give any descriptions of what we wanted. So
Yeah.
contacting, you know, put it out there for bid, and somebody won it, and, you know, found some knockoff,
Yeah.
you know, for my kitchen, and then I had to do another contract that same year to buy the one I wanted.
Yeah, and so that is, and it cost you double because you're having to buy the more expensive one or the one that you kind of were like, you know, maybe. So you've got to be very careful because again, I mean, like that combi oven, I mean, it's a combination steamer slash oven slash you name it, you can do it. It'll look like things are fried, you know, you can air fry. It's kind of the first air fryer kind of a deal, but you know, I mean, I mean, a combi oven can be $40,000, even more. I mean, there are things that are so much more expensive in a kitchen. So you just got to be very careful and know the specs, know what you're buying, and know the quality, because you know, and some of these knockoff companies, you know, you've got to be very careful because of the quality is not there. The quality of the manufacturing, the, you know, any of that sort of stuff. You got to be very careful with that. But also, you know, because of, we're going to keep this machine because it's going to be a tax write-off. So we're going to keep this product for however long I determined it's going to last. So if I said it's going to determine, you know, last for 10 years, then I kind of deduct my taxes, you know, deducted over the next 10 years. But let's say I all of a sudden, before my 10-year mark, I had to, it died. So I need to buy a new one. So where I'm still, you know, I'm still paying for that one, or I'm still deducting it and all of that. So I got to keep that around a lot longer. So, and making sure that your equipment is, you know, I mean, and this is choosing the quality, making sure your equipment is user friendly. Make sure that it is, you know, like a, you know, that you can get someone to come fix it here in, you know, in someone that, you know, it's not a, I guess, someone that I have to get from their corporate office to come down or whatever else. So make sure that, you know, little restaurant companies, restaurant equipment supply people can, you know, source the you know, parts or whatever else, making sure that the parts are available and not too pricey, because some of these, you know, some of the parts are very pricey, and that could be bad as well. Start purchasing start purchasing. All right, so first line of defense in foodborne illness is obviously, right? You're the first. You need to make sure that there's no foodborne illnesses. That you make sure that it's temperature abused, everything is not abused or whatever else. And we buy things from approved, reputable suppliers. Okay. And with that being said, temperature abuse. And I think I talked about this last week or the week before about, in the summertime where, it's the trucks are open, it's really hot outside, or making sure that all my purveyors have all their documentation, federal, state, they're following all the laws. Make sure they have all the laws. Hold on. As I'm going to stand up for a few minutes, I'm kind of getting a little nauseous. All right, so making sure that the food is safe, making sure the supplies are safe. Storing, making sure that we store everything properly. Let's see. All right. Yes. Spoilage. All right. So when you're producing or when you're ordering food, right, you need to make sure that, to avoid any spoilage. If it goes bad in the storeroom, I've totally done not my job. I totally screwed my job up if something goes bad in the storeroom, because of we need to make sure we store it properly, rotate everything properly, make sure everything is properly stored at the right temperature, frozen correctly, all of those things. We need to make sure all of that is done correctly. Make sure things are labeled properly. Labeling is very, very important. Who works in a restaurant right now? Anybody? Someone. So, our Heidi, when you were working, when the health department was coming, right? Didn't the health department come while you were there?
Yeah, chef.
All right, so when the health department comes, you have to have things labeled. If there are things not labeled, right, you're supposed to throw them away or whatever else. The health department requires everything labeled. So make sure it's clear, written down with the dates, the times, you name it. Everything's got to be labeled. When in doubt, label it. No matter what, go label everything.
They mark anything not labeled as a violation.
Could you say that again?
Anything that's not like labeled is like a violation, and depending on how many violations you have, you could either like lose food rating, or you could like potentially get like shut down until you fix the violations.
For sure, yeah, and that's public knowledge too. So that means that anybody knows that you're shut down. Anybody can find that out, and that's not good. Give me 2 minutes. Give me 1 sec, okay? Let me go grab some thing of medicine real quick, and then I'll be right back. All right, sorry, guys. All right, now I'm back. My apologies. All right, so when you are dealing with the storeroom, it's first in, first out, making sure that everything comes in when it comes in, and that it's coming out not right when it comes in. If there was a gallon of milk that was there yesterday and we got 4 gallons in today, let's make sure we use up the old before we use up the new. And you'll see this a lot of times at like HEB or at grocery stores. You'll see a lot of people going against the FIFO because of they are reaching back in the back of the dairy cooler and getting the milk that is kind of in the later date. So the newest and because the oldest is in the front. So just make sure you first in, first out on everything. And you can't take stuff out of the cases. So, you know, it really kind of depends on what you're doing. So you got to be very careful. First in, first out. Same thing with flour and sugar and all of that. You got to stack all the new ones on the bottom and stack all the old ones on top of the bags of sugar or flour or whatever else. We've already taken a break. Let's work with our menus. So we're going to be talking about menus. Okay, so let me pull up this real quick.
Every day in the hospitality industry, you guys have a chance to touch people's lives in a really important way, to allow them to escape.
A restaurant's menu is a very powerful brand statement. In fact, you are what you serve when it comes to a restaurant menu. So the question might be, how do you plan a restaurant menu? One thing that's very important to keep in mind is that your restaurant menu will have a very powerful impact on many parts of your restaurant business. It will determine how many people you need in the kitchen to produce the food. It will determine many of your price points. It will determine how your business performs from the point of view of check average. How much is each person going to spend when they eat at your restaurant? And you have a lot of decisions to make when you plan your restaurant menu to make sure that it delivers what you want it to in terms of your idea, in terms of how you want the restaurant to feel for the guests and for your staff. One of the first questions you're going to ask yourself is, how does a restaurant menu embody my idea for my restaurant? If you want to have a Southwestern cuisine restaurant, well, pretty obviously you need to have a menu that delivers that kind of food. You also want to know how many items you're going to offer your guests. Will you expect them to order a la carte, individual items from the menu, or will you expect them to order what's called prix fixe, or a fixed price menu, where they spend one price for multiple courses? All of this depends on the style of your restaurant, the level of service, the level of price that you're expecting your guests to pay. When you're working on your menu, it's important to start asking yourself, what is the guest going to think when they see this menu? They may see your menu online. They may see your menu for the first time when they sit down in your restaurant. What are they going to feel? What are they going to think? Are they going to say, ooh, I want that? Or are they going to be overwhelmed by too many choices? Does the menu make them feel comfortable? Does it make them feel excited? Does it make them feel bored? Does it make them feel overwhelmed? How does the guest feel about the menu and the items on it? Also, what does the menu say about your concept of food? Do you provide seasonal ingredients? Or are you the kind of restaurant that's serving asparagus in December? Do you serve local produce? Or do you serve everything under the sun. It's very important to think like a guest when you're planning a menu. What are the choices I want to make? What are the choices I want to have? And how are they going to affect my enjoyment of my meal? Another important thing to know about planning a menu is that a menu should not be something that's engraved in stone and never changes. You need to change your menu, and you need to create a menu that you expect to change. There will be dishes that will be more seasonally appropriate. You're not going to sell a lot of beef stew in August in New York City. You need to think about, what do people want to eat at different times of year? What is appealing to people at different times of year? Now, if you're really lucky, you'll have a dish that people love so much they come back for it. What you would call a signature dish. A dish that people say, oh, I've got to go to that restaurant because I have to have that. Well, people become very attached to those dishes. So there's an interesting balance to find. You have to add new things to keep the excitement for your regular guests, but you have to hold on to those signature dishes that people keep coming back for again and again. Change your menu seasonally. Think about signature items that people will associate with your business, and keep it fresh. Add new things to keep people interested in your menu.
Hey guys! Places, everybody!
All right. So everybody understand that you want to make it kind of seasonal. You want to, you want to make sure that you have a good, well-rounded menu. You want to make sure that you have everything, kind of organized and kind of understand how to create a menu or how to do it. And you're going to be determining what kind of food should I get? What kind of food should I make? So, that is what we're going to be trying to come up with in the next, within this week for yourself, of what kind of food do you want to come up with in your restaurant, your hypothetical restaurant you're coming up with. Menus serve customers, so you want to make sure you have a good list, a good well-rounded list. You want to make sure that you can kind of hit everybody a little bit. You got maybe a little fish, you got a little chicken, you got a little beef, you got maybe, if your clientele wants it, maybe lamb or whatever else. It really kind of depends on who your clientele is and what your clientele wants, or your population that you're wanting in your restaurant, to whoever they are. And that's what we were talking about, who your clientele is going to be, your population of who's going to be coming to your restaurant. Someone read this slide for me, if you don't mind.
Restaurant menu. Before you write the restaurant start menu, make sure there is a good connection between the restaurant kitchen and the list. The kitchen size directly influences the style of the cuisine. A small kitchen implies the restaurant cannot offer a wide range of meals. The restaurant menu list should be legible. The fonts and language used should make it visible, readable, and comprehensible. You will receive customers of different calibers. Some are short-sighted and others are long-sighted. If they are having problems reading the menu, they will walk away.
Yes, thank you. Yes, for sure. I mean, I've looked at menus before and just go, this is not a menu for me. And my wife and I get up and go to a different restaurant or leave, because we don't like what's on the menu or whatever else. Maybe it's not that I don't like how they wrote it, but I just don't like what's on the menu, or it doesn't strike a fancy to my likes at that moment in time. But making sure that the kitchen is properly sized for your menu that you're making. I mean, you know, what was it? A Cheesecake Factory menu might not be the best for a very small mom and pop restaurant, you know, a very tiny restaurant, because it's such a big, you've got to have so much stuff on hand. So you need a bigger storeroom, you need a bigger freezer, you need a bigger cooler, all of that sort of stuff determines what your menu, you know, with your menu. I mean, if I'm gonna order, if my menu has a lot of frozen stuff, a lot of frozen items are pre-cooked, but frozen items, well, that means that I'm gonna need a larger area for my refrigerator or what have you. So I need a bigger freezer for all my stuff on the menu. Make sure it's the right price. Make sure that your pricing is good. You do not want to price your customers out. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted you to to look up the demographics of who is going to come to your restaurant, because that determines how much money you get to charge, because of who's coming in. Because if someone's coming in that can or that can pay a $30 check average or a $40 check average, then I'm going to do it, right? Because I'd be a fool not to. But also you need to make sure that you're pricing it so where people feel like, there's value for it. Because if I have a beef tenderloin some sort of beef tenderloin, 8-ounce beef tenderloin, and it's $5.50, well, I'm questioning, is that really beef? Why is it so cheap or whatever else? So where if it's too cheap, people feel like it might not be quality or whatever else. So you need to find that happy medium and find that area where your customers are what you call the threshold of how much are they willing not to spend. And once you figure out that threshold of the spending level, then you can manipulate the cost to where your customer, where you can maximize your profits. Create a menu. Let's see. So as a new restaurant, one of the toughest things to create is, or things to do, is to change your menu, right? Because, the menu is what brings customers in and they pay the bills, right? So that's kind of what brings people in. So when you change the menu, sometimes that's a scary thing, because are the customers going to like it? Are they going to enjoy it? Are they going to keep coming back or whatever else? But again, when you change a menu, you have already kind of tested out these recipes by having them as specials or whatever else. So making sure that I have proven that they will work. So let's see. How to plan your menu. So the first step is start your demographics. You need your demographics, right? Someone read this slide for me.
Start with your concept and demographics. The first and one of the most crucial steps to menu planning is to think about the location of your restaurant, cafe, or eatery. What are people looking for in your area? What is currently popular and where are the niches? What are the socioeconomic considerations in the area?
Thank you. And again, that determines your pricing, right? In what style of restaurant, if your socioeconomic, is lower in one area, well, it doesn't mean anything. I'm not stereotyping. I'm not, doing anything other than saying, okay, this area where I want to put my restaurant, so, people don't make as much money in this area. So that means that I put a restaurant that's not a fine dining restaurant in this area. So I need to know exactly what it is, my concept. What kind of concept? Is it going to be a burger place? Is it going to be, what is it? And those are the things important to determine what you need for a menu. What is the next one? Someone read this one.
Stick to a theme, although it is good to be different. Everyone likes the classics, so try to find a balance between the two. Remember, your customers have a lot of control as to your success. Pleasing them is just as important as doing what you love.
Thank you. And it kind of, and one thing I want you to make sure of is you hear what customers are the ones that make you success, make that success. I can have a amazing, successful team. I can have an amazing, beautiful restaurant. I can have amazing decor. I can have amazing music. I can have amazing staff. I can have amazing everything. But if the customers don't want it, I'm not going to be in business. Okay, so customers are the important people, and if we didn't have them, we couldn't ever keep our doors open. And we need to make sure we stick with the theme. Let's don't confuse our customers, right? Let's don't confuse our customers. If it's we've all probably been in a restaurant or been in a business that you go, wow, their theme is really messed up, or they're not really, their concept is not exactly what I would consider that concept or whatever else. So making sure that, your concept goes, all the way through and everybody understands that concept. And it goes from the napkins to the valet parkers. You've got to, the theme has got to go to everywhere. So making sure that your theme or your style of restaurant goes with it. Let's see. Testing menu items, use specials. Yeah, for sure. That's all the time. I use specials as a determination of if I'm going to put that on the menu. Every time, and when I always look at the sales of the specials, anytime we come up with a special new item or whatever else, specials are there for me to play with. I can't change my menu at all, usually, right? The menu's set, you got to stick with the menu. But what does change is the specials are the, special of the day, soup of the day, all sorts of things like that. Those things change up a little bit, and I can test out new items and as specials or whatever else. What I would do is I would get my employees, I would do this as an incentive program on specials for sure. What I would do is I'd get my employees to come up, and this would be a couple of weeks out, but whenever we would, I would say, okay, we're going to have, everybody, if you want to come up with a special, come up with a special. We'll have a taste test. We'll kind of check it out, and we'll kind of vote and see who gets the special item. And a lot of times those specials will become menu items eventually. And so what would happen is if that becomes a menu item, whoever the employee's name that made that, I always give them credit on the menu for that special or for that item. But I use specials or any of those things for testing out new items, because no matter what, if it fails, it's only a special, right? It's not a big deal. But if it's on the menu and it fails, then it is a big deal, because I need all of my items to work to my advantage, because we got the plow horses, we got all sorts of different things, right? We got the dogs, and we've got the things that are going to maximize my profit. So menus, standardization, very important, like sizing. That's why we standardize size of steaks, or size of here's the ice cream scoop, 6 ounce, 3 ounce. We just need everything portioned out, because again, we costed it out to that portion. So we need to make sure every time we serve that size portion, because if not, we're losing money. I mean, if that 6 ounce New York strip, and every time we sell it, and whoever cut all those New York strips, they're 7 ounces. Every time we're selling a New York strip, we're losing an ounce of meat that we didn't pay for. No one's paid for. So all we're doing is we're losing money. Or we paid for it, but no one else is reimbursing us. So we get that hit, right? All right, so the first draft of your menu is going to be not perfect, right? You gotta have a few rough drafts. You gotta make sure that everything works out correctly, and make sure that your menu is kind of organized where you're cross-utilizing certain ingredients and on each dish, because the more I can use the same ingredients, the more I can buy in bulk, and it'll be cheaper for me, or whatever else. Let's see, make sure everybody sees the menu, make sure we test it, make sure that the menu is not too heavy on one station. Okay, now that is very important, to make sure that it's not heavy on one station, meaning let's don't overload the fry person, or the grill person, or the person that, any of those people. You got to make sure you don't overload them. Let's see, let's see, some dishes don't fit the concept. You got to remove it. Some of them are not good items, so you need to evaluate and make sure that the menu is going to plan, and that you need to any ideas, any better ideas, always make sure that you kind of work on that. So for the restaurant menu planning, what kind of restaurant have you chosen? What is your restaurant name? So someone read this out. Someone read this slide for me.
What are the important characteristics of a menu for the restaurant you have chosen? What details make sense for food items? Does the menu go beyond simply naming the food item? What kind of names are used? What typeface best fits the menu? How large should it be? Okay, what colors belong on the menu? How do the colors relate to the other elements of the menu? And I can't see the last sentence, Chef.
All right, that's fine. What kind of image would best be for the menu, and why? So, and so these are kind of some questions that you would have to ask yourself to come up with a menu. Okay. Now, what I am going to ask you to do is, now your menu project, okay? Um, you know, you're going to be using, I just want 9 items. Now, the menu project, on the portal and everywhere else, it says 3 appetizers, 3 main course, 3 desserts. Well, I don't want, I just want 9 items, 9 different items for your menu. Okay. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to, hold on, all right, so what you're going to do is you're going to need to come up with 9 items, and you're going to need to create a standardized recipe form for all those 9 items. Okay? Questions about that so far? No? Let me stop sharing. All right, so you need to come up with 9 items. Let me, in the standardized recipe form, let me get it. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Let me find one that I can. Courtney?
Yes.
Can I use yours, your standardized recipe thing that you sent me?
Sure.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm gonna share my screen real quick. All right, so this is Courtney's standardized recipe form for tartar sauce, okay? Everybody see this? Yeah, thumbs up?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so what I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to need you to make, so everybody's got a standardized recipe form already, this format. So what I'm going to ask you to do is you're going to make whatever menu items you want on your menu for your restaurant, right? So you've come up with the logo, you've come up with demographics, you've come up with all of that. Now you need to come up with your items for your menu. So you need to come up with 9 items, and I need you to write down the recipes for those items. Okay. Now, sometimes there are recipes in recipes, and let me explain that. Let's say there is let's say you're doing, shrimp etouffee or gumbo. Let's say you're making gumbo. Okay, you've got rice goes in with the gumbo, right? So you've got rice is one recipe, and you've got gumbo is another recipe. So you would have to really do 2 standardized recipe forms for the gumbo, because you're going to need 1 standardized recipe form for gumbo, and you're going to need 1 standardized recipe form for rice. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, so what I need you to do, like for example, someone was saying they're making pizza, right? So maybe if you have different sizes, you are different styles, you need to price out, or you need to have every pizza is going to be a different standardized recipe. Okay, but if it says, you have pizza sauce. So pizza sauce is a different recipe, right? You got to make the pizza, but you need to make pizza sauce to make the pizza. So you need another recipe for the pizza sauce. Does that make sense? Does everybody kind of understanding what I'm asking you to do? So you need to come up with nine items that you're going to sell on your menu But sometimes those 9 items need a couple of other supplemental recipes, right? So that's what I'm asking you to make sure you come up with 9 items, but you might have more than 9 recipes, 9 standard recipes listed. Is everybody following me on that? Because whenever I look at your recipes, I'm going to say, okay, you know, I see, yes, you got your pizza, that's perfect, but where's your marinara recipe? Or where's your pizza sauce recipe? Or where's your this recipe that you need for this item? Or if it calls for a compound butter, like on a steak, we need to make sure that you have your recipe made for that compound butter and all of that. So those are the things. That is what I need you to do this week. Okay, I need you to make, well, this week I need you to really come up with your menu. What is this, week 4, right? This is week 4, let me see, yeah. So week 4, I need you to come up with, I need all recipes for your 9 items done by the end of the week. Does everybody follow? So I need all recipes done by the end of the week. And what's going to happen is then on Friday, I'll show you how to then start costing out your menu. So where on week 5, that will be week 5, we'll cost it all out. That takes about a week to get all of that costing done. And then, or a week and a half, maybe a week and a half, or I'm sorry, a half a week. And then you're gonna spend the rest of the time designing your menu, making a menu. And then week 6, you're presenting you're presenting everything. So any questions so far? And if you want to go and do other stuff, you know, if you want to keep doing the project ahead of us, that's totally fine. I'm just breaking it down into small bite-sized pieces for you to deal with, instead of giving you a bunch of, say, here's the project and go. So any questions, problems, concerns, issues that we need to talk about for today? Today was, I mean, that was the end of the PowerPoint. There was nothing else. Are there any problems or concerns? Does everybody know what I'm expecting? 9 items for your menu. That's what I'm expecting. Everybody good with that? All right, thank you. All right, y'all have a good day. And looks like as long as it's not corrupted, I think we'll have a recording for today. So other than that, peace out. Y'all have a good one.
You have a good one, Chef.
Bye,
All
guys.
right, Chef. Hope you feel better.
I will. Thank you, man. I'm sorry for having to move a little fast.
Hey, Chef.
Yeah, Gary, what's up?
Hey, so I got an email about this externship for overseas.
Oh,
and there's no Zoom. It said it was gonna be on Zoom, but there's no meeting. It was from Ann. I'm gonna give her a call, I guess, when she gets into work here. Probably in another hour.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find her number and I can see about.
I have her number. I just don't know, you know, like she sent out an email and it says it's gonna be over Zoom, but she didn't give us the meeting number. And I can't respond to it because it's a do not reply.
Here, why don't you, hold on. What's her phone number?
I got it upstairs. Hold on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me see if I have it in my contacts.
I got it.
And because I can call her. I don't mind waking her up.
Yeah.
but I don't have
Let's
it.
see. Ann's number is office was 512-381-7252.
7252.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I got it. Hold on. It went to her voicemail. I will see if I can.
I know it's at
find
3
it.
o'clock tomorrow, but I just don't know the meeting number. I am interested.
will. Yeah, you know what? I will. You reach out to her as well, and
Yeah,
I'll reach out to her,
Yeah.
and I will. If I find it, I will send it to you. Okay.
All right, Chef. Thanks.
All right, no problem. Everybody else good? Y'all have a great day, guys. I'm going to end the class.